Five, four, three, two, one. And booyah. Hey folks, welcome to the Edutainment Corner. This is a podcast about all the things that are going on in the world from your average teenager's perspective. Here with me today, and hopefully every time we record in the future, is Wayne and Nicolas. And we also have Ethan Aquino with us today as a guest. How are you guys?
I'm good.
That's great to hear. What about you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to record this podcast.
I am too. I'm excited.
Episode 2.
We have a lot in store today. Like, we have a crazy cool plan. I guess the first thing we're all gonna start with is a life update. You know, just what's going on with your guys' lives. What are you up to, Wayne?
Me personally, I've been chilling last 2 weeks. I have gotten into a couple of things. So my dad got a record player, like a vinyl record player for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And I've used it more than he has. And it's really funny. And so there's this thing that my dad said at Christmas that he had a bunch of albums, but he thought he left them at the old house in Illinois.
Oh.
But we looked at the attic and there was just piles on top of piles of just old albums. Like, I'm meaning these things haven't been touched since we moved here.
Dang. So as in, like, are the records old or are they from an old time?
They're from an old time. They still, like, a lot of them still work.
Whoa, wait, like, where are they from? Just all over the time, or just kind of like a specific...
Yeah, there's, mainly it's around, like, anywhere from, like, the 60s to about the 80s.
Nice.
A lot of Beach Boys. I've been recently, in the last 2 weeks, I've been listening to the Stevie Miller Band. The album's called Book of Dreams.
I'm actually going to write that down. I want to listen to this afterwards.
It's really trippy. It's really cool.
Sweet. What about you, man? Ethan?
Thank you for letting me be on the podcast, by the way.
Oh, of course, dude.
Anytime.
Yeah, for me, recently, I've just been focused. I've just been going to the gym a lot. I haven't been doing much, really. I've just been focused on school. I've been going to the gym. And I've been doing football. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Grinding.
There's nothing really else. Yeah, basically.
Nice.
What about you, Nick?
I've started actually, like, thinking about a lot of the things I want to do when I grow up, and I've been it took me a while to get my permit, but I've actually started to drive on the road recently, which is nice. I'm excited to get my license soon. And,
me too.
It's actually a lot easier than I expected.
Oh man,
driving.
The permit test is so much harder than the driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like, half
Ethan's actually going to be. When are you going to be taking it? Your birthday's in 4 days.
I actually turned 16 in 4 days, and I already took my driver's test. So basically, the day I turned 16, I automatically get my license. I just have to print it out because I took driver's ed, and
Oh yeah.
It took me a little bit longer, which
I get my license in 4 days.
Nice, dude. Man. That's awesome.
I get mine since I waited a year to get my permit. I'll be taking the test. Wait, what did you say about driver's ed? If I took driver's ed, I did take driver's ed. Would I get my... So, what's the whole purpose of you taking driver's ed? Did you get to take your test early?
Well, yeah, basically in driver's ed, we did we had, like, our alcohol unit, like, all that.
Yeah.
But then we took some tests, all that, and then at the end of our driving, like, we drove around our school and stuff, and he taught us, like, all that. But at the end, we took a driving test, and if we passed, we could get our driver's license on the day we turned 16. But if not, like, if you failed somehow, then you'd have to go to DMV.
Okay.
Well, if that's not the case for me, I still have to... First of all, I have to drive 50 hours. I've already driven, I want to say, at least 30. I've driven a lot, and I will be taking my driver's test. See, I got my permit on November 10th, and I gotta wait 6 months. So I'll be able to take the test May 10th. So, like right before summer starts. And
Bro, I
my
think
plan is
we're gonna get our
I'm
permits at
gonna
the
get
same
a
time.
summer job, and I'm gonna be able to drive to my work so that I don't
Yep. Bro, I think we're gonna get our permits at the same time, our license at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or like around the couple of days. I got mine in November too.
Nice, man. We should go to the DMV together.
We should.
Which one are you planning on going to? Because you can go to a couple.
I don't think we went to the one here. I think there's like another one further away because a lot of people said this one
What?
sucks.
Yeah, no, the one in our town
Yeah.
really sucks. But there's 2 or 3 that I went to one of them outside of town,
Mhm.
and the permit, like the line was not like bad at all. I only was there for like an hour.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was. It was like, I don't know, 15 people I think before me. So it wasn't bad for the DMV.
All right. So, do you want to get into the
Podcast?
first topic?
Absolutely.
Or do you want to? All right.
All right, guys. So we have a couple of stories actually. There's a really interesting one we're gonna start right off the bat with, and we're just kind of I'm gonna kind of read a sort of a I don't know how you explain it, like a article.
The article.
Yeah, but I have it like summarized, and we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read this, and we're gonna kind of like give our opinions on it because it's pretty funny. So the article is titled "Magic Mushrooms Grow in Man's Blood After Injection with Shroom Tea."
What a title.
Yes. So a man brewed tea from magic mushrooms and injected the concoction into his veins. Several days later, he ended up at the emergency department with the fungus growing in his blood. So he made tea out of shrooms, and he, took a needle and he injected it into his blood, and the mushroom started growing in his blood. Like, that is just crazy. I mean,
what? I have a question
Yeah.
about that. Why?
actually, yeah.
What's his reasoning behind? I
Let's
mean,
see the reasoning.
I get mixing it in with your tea,
Mm-hmm.
but how do you get to injecting yourself with it?
So, by injecting shrooms into his bloodstream, the 30-year-old patient had hoped to relieve symptoms of bipolar disorder and opioid dependence.
Oh, man.
So, using drugs to help his other drug problems, according to the report. His family members noted that he had recently stopped adhering to his prescribed bipolar medications and was cycling between depressive and manic states.
Ooh, that's... oh, man, that's bad.
Now
I know why he injected.
Yep. The man found
Magic
online
mushroom.
reports that described the potential therapeutic effects of hallucinogens such as LSD and psilocybin mushrooms, which prompted him to boil down the shrooms into a mushroom tea. He filtered the tea by drawing it through a cotton swab before injecting it into his body. In the following days, he became lethargic and nauseated, and his skin began to yellow. His skin turned... Oh my god. He soon developed diarrhea and began vomiting blood. The man spent 22 days in the hospital, with 8 of those days in the intensive care unit, where he received treatment for multi-system organ failure. Now released, he's being treated with a long-term regimen of antibiotic and antifungal drugs, according to the description of the case published in January 11th in the Journal of the Academy of Consultation Liaison Psychiatry. Whoa.
Yeah, that's...
So, yeah, I have one thing to say.
Yeah.
There's like 1 to 2 things. First off, this like reminds me, for some reason, just reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss, like his skin turning yellow, like it's something weird, like reminds me of the Grinch or like Dr. Seuss, or just something like dumb like that.
Yeah.
His
Second
skin
off,
turns to a different color.
Bro, I have to say,
second off,
Oh, go ahead.
wait, go on.
Go ahead, no, you go.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, how did the mushrooms grow? Like inside of him, that's just weird to me.
Because
Like, how did
mushrooms
it,
grow
like, plant?
everywhere.
If you liquidize it
That's
and
like,
you inject it, it's like heroin.
oh god, yeah, that's what he did.
Like, he basically made mushroom heroin.
Yeah.
He
How
boiled
did
it
they
down.
grow though? Did they grow like plants growing inside of them?
Well, that's what mushrooms do. They grow
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's like a it was like a fungus growing inside of him because mushrooms are fungus. Pretty sure.
I mean, it's like when you see
Oh, yeah.
it's like when you see a log in the forest, right, with all those mushrooms growing around it, like all over it. It's like the mushrooms are inside that log, and that's what was happening to him. Like he
He
got
So
was the
interesting
log.
to think though.
yeah, just mushrooms can like grow like literally anything.
Inside the human body. Yeah.
I it almost sounds wrong, but I kind of wish they hadn't saved him, because like
Just to see what it would be like if he died.
yeah,
Like,
would he
would
like
it
sprout
would
mushrooms out of
the-
his orifices?
I was gonna say, would it affect
Fungus growing out
him?
his mouth.
Like, what's the word? Like, you know, the death process where your body begins to like deteriorate.
Decomposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how would that work? Like, would he just start? Would he be like a little tree log where he just start growing mushrooms out of his body when he dies?
I think so. If like let's say they didn't save him and they just kind of left him on the floor somewhere, I think so. I think he would turn into mushroom soil.
That'd be pretty cool. Mushroom Man. He would be a great.
And maybe they might do an
experiment
experiment like that. Yeah, exactly.
With a human?
Like somebody donates their body to
Maybe.
science right before they die,
Okay.
and they inject them with the same stuff that he did.
A lot of people have done that. They're like freezing their bodies, like, and waking up in the future.
How much?
Like whatever. Like,
That's a real thing.
realize
That's
how much they cost. How much that stuff cost. I think it's like 300,000.
yeah, it's
lot of
it's a
money.
whole business though. Like there's literally like people who will do that to you. And
What's
you have
it
no
called
promise
again,
that it'll
bro?
work. Let me stir
yeah,
my
I
chocolate milk real
don't.
quick.
It's just weird to think about. Let's say it does work, and you wake up like 30 years later,
Yeah.
or not even like 100. Reminds me of Futurama.
Yep.
Okay, so that was a interesting topic to talk about
Yeah.
Mushroom God. I had an idea
Mhm.
early in the week,
Okay.
and it's actually our next topic,
Yep.
which is why isn't the world as colorful anymore?
I have to say,
And
oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
You
Very
think about
broad
it.
question.
You think about it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds really depressing,
Yeah.
but
That
it's true. Like you look at
it's reality.
Yeah, and the world just seems more dull nowadays, and I think it's because I mean, I tried looking into it, and my best answer to it is that the chemicals in our brain, like as a kid, we release more, chemicals that make it, the world more vibrant.
Dopamine, basically. Or
Yeah.
happiness. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying,
And now we just don't.
yeah. I have to
What
say,
do
I
you
was
have to
I
say?
think
I was thinking about that after you asked that after you said that, and then maybe this is something we could talk about in the podcast. I was really thinking about it, and I might have come up with with like a reason for that. And I was thinking, like when you're kids, right? When you're a kid,
Mhm.
you have a lot of firsts. You have a lot of like your first time riding a bike. You have your
it's
first
true.
time
Yeah.
eating anything, like a new food or something like that, right? And it's just
Yeah.
the world is new. The world is unexplored. And as you get older,
Oh.
you start
Very
realizing,
adventurous.
yeah. And by the time you get to our age, you almost realize that, adults are not these people who know everything.
Yeah.
You're not someday going to be someone who knows everything. Like it's
It's
humbling.
really depressing.
Yeah, and it's almost
When
sad
you
to
come
think
to
that,
think about
the world is fully explored. And I don't think it is fully explored, but I think
Oh yeah.
your everyday life now just becomes
It's a whole nother topic, yeah. but
yeah, normal now. It's like you're familiarized
The
with life.
cycle.
So I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
for us then it's like we're used to being like this every day. And that's why new
Everyone's where you're
experiences
coming from.
always feel more exciting. Like moving out or
And a part of that's why the world seemed more colorful when we were little is because all this excitement and all that.
Ooh.
We were more positive, and we had a brighter outlook on life.
Yeah, well, you also didn't know about any of the bad things in life.
Yeah,
Life was great.
Yeah, your parents tried to hide you from like the crazy news, like the crazy shows. Oh, you were just watching Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
like playing with stuff outside and whatever.
And
now I think that's a
Yeah.
lot different nowadays, people, because back when we were kids, right? We didn't have tablets and iPhones, and
did
nowadays
we
these
really not
kids
though?
are.
Did we really not? Like, I can't remember my parents not having Facebook. Like, I cannot remember that.
Really?
Yeah. Or like
I
barely.
remember. I think I was like. I think it was 7. My mom played this game on Facebook. It's not Farmville.
When Farmville, I think it was what my parents played. I remember
Oh
that.
my god, I feel like every person that had Facebook back then played Farmville. But it was
Stepmom
this
played Farmville.
yeah, it was this weird game, and me and my mom play it like literally all the time. And that was like my first like electronic interaction, like an online presence. And then I got my Xbox when I was. What was it, Ethan? Was it 4th grade? I remember we all got our Xboxes at the same time.
I mean, mine was around 4th grade.
Yeah, that was when you were living in a.
Still, if you think about it, that's so young.
Yeah.
It's so young, but it's not like how it is today. You see little like 4-year-olds having their own iPad.
iPads. We never had.
That's something I never had.
We had.
We had 3DSs and DSs and then like whatever playing our Wii. But
we
still,
actually went outside, and nowadays, I never see kids outside.
We're becoming that older generation that's like, oh, back in our day, we went outside.
Like back
sometimes.
in my day, yeah. Oh my gosh, I hate it, but also, true. So it's kind of scary knowing that we're at that point.
And we're only what, 16?
Yeah.
Man, it's just like how you look at life.
Yeah.
Like, how do you look at it?
I feel like with newer generations, we are becoming like the newer generations are getting matured, like lesser by age.
I see.
Like I mean, obviously, there's still some immaturity.
I mean, think about it though. We have like technologies to see all like this stuff. Like we're seeing stuff like way earlier than what like other generations did.
For sure.
Like we've been exposed to a lot more faster.
Exactly. We're good. That's what I want. Like want to talk about. Like we are getting more exposed to stuff. Like these kids are learning, the advancements of, more like the world has become more radicalized, and it has opened so many people's eyes.
And just with, like the internet and just as an invention, like I think
the internet has changed a lot of things.
So much. Like I would say every generation has like one invention like that. Like, the TV, then the computer, and then I think ours is the internet. Like I can't imagine a world without it. Or like I can imagine it, but it's like it's so different to me.
I feel like our generation would be smartphones.
Really?
And that was 2007.
And we were all born. Ethan was born in 05. I was born in 04. Nick was born. Were you born in 04?
04,
Nick?
yeah. September 2004.
Yep. We're old.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is that it for topic? Do we want to go into our next topic?
I was gonna put my input. I was just waiting.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, no, definitely. What do you have to say?
I was thinking, like, it's as a kid, you just look around. I mean, I've already said this, and it's like you start to explore things. You go through life though, you still have some first.
Yeah.
Like Nick said, but it's not the same. It's not like. It's not as like a fairy tale, Like you start to grow up and you start to see the like truths. You start to see like the lies, like whatever. And it's just weird to think about because, like, going back to the question, the colors,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you think about that, it just feels like, I don't know.
So do you think you can make life colorful again like it was? You know what I mean?
Say that again.
Do you think you could make? Ethan's muted. Just thinking about that. But I was saying, do you think you could make life colorful again, like like it was back when you were a kid?
You have to take a lot of steps to get to where you were as a kid. Like, I feel like college
Mm-hmm.
is the point where it's like you open up your eyes, because college is like whole new. You're going away from your parents.
Yeah.
You are on your own for the first time.
So in a way,
All that.
it's almost like back to childhood with the new experiences that you've never had before and you couldn't begin to think about. You know?
Yeah.
I'm getting out my bed. Yeah, I was listening.
So you're you know what I mean? You know what I
College is
mean? Though?
different. What were you
Like
saying?
high school is not that far from, because we're still living with parents.
That's true. You have to keep in mind though. There's a lot of things you haven't done it, like driving, right? Like you.
Yeah.
I
Like, you have a lot more freedom.
Yeah, I have a specific memory of being like 6 years old, and I was thinking I was sitting in the gas station, and I was telling my dad, I was
I
like,
have that.
well,
I have a same experience just like that.
yeah,
But
filling
go
up
on.
his gas station. I was like, in 10 years, that's so long. That's more than twice.
Always
That's
think
like
that.
my life now.
I was.
I'll be like 16 and I'll drive. I thought that was
And
so
now we're
weird.
here. But I
Well,
have
I-
that same thing. I was talking to my dad. I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Dad, 8 more years, I'm going to be able to drive. And, now that I'm looking at it, it's like, I'm here.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
it's kind of cool.
For me, what were you saying?
Oh, good. That's all I was gonna say. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. For me, like you guys said that, I
Mhm.
always thought this. Like the year 2025. Like I always looked at my graduation year. I
Oh
always
my
looked at the year
God.
2025. I'm like, I'll be this year's old when I'm 25. If I think about it now, that's 4 years. I'll be 20 years old when 2025.
You think
I always
about
think
it?
about that.
Nuketown 2025.
Weird.
Call of Duty. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, thinking about it, that's only 4 years away, man.
Wait, am I
I
missing
know.
something? 2025. I graduate in 2023. Aren't we the
Yeah,
same?
we
No, I
all
know.
do.
That's 2025 is just like a year. Like just thinking about it's just weird.
Oh yeah, yeah,
2023 though, we'll be 18, graduating,
yeah.
and doing whatever after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2024 feels like the future, like that year, like 2024.
Yeah.
And we're almost
absolutely.
there.
You think about it, like 2000. You look back and it was like 2012. Feels like 2012 is like yesterday.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But then now it's like 2021 in a blink of an eye. You ever think about that? Like it felt like 2007, so close to yesterday ago. Now it's like years is like it's like going faster and faster.
That's something I was gonna go into if you didn't. I was like how time goes faster and faster as you get older and older.
Yeah, it feels like new year, new year. Like it was just 2019. It was just 2020. Now it's already February
well,
2021.
the blink, I mean, March 2020 to, January of 2021 was a blur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember half of the crap I did in that time. Because, it was spent in the house
Yeah.
doing nothing.
Did you know they actually did studies on that? And I'm not like an expert on it or anything. Like I don't know very much, but I remember reading about this, and there was like they were graphing. A bunch of people did a survey, and it's like, how fast do you think your years are going as you get older? And people think the years go faster and faster until you reach about 50. And after you turn 50, for the average person, it starts to plateau. And after that, after about 50, it's like the years start becoming slower again, which is interesting. So it's not that, 1 year therefore becomes less of your total lifespan, and therefore you see it as less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you were 2 years old, 1 year was like a long time. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the thing is, that's even if you make it to 50. You could go at any moment if you think about it. So
yeah,
it's just, I could go tomorrow. I could go now. I could have a heart attack or something. It's sad to think about, but it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right.
Say.
So let's go in a more positive. Right?
Yeah.
Our next topic.
You think eating aliens is positive?
Eating aliens. Yeah.
Okay, so this was a random thought I had last week, and it was just something I was thinking about. Let's say there's an alien planet out there, right? Just somewhere in the universe. If we were to go to that alien planet, and let's say we could live, without a spacesuit, like it has oxygen and the right gravity and all the things that we need to survive on that planet, but it's an alien ecosystem. Completely alien.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't have plants. Maybe it has giant mushrooms, and instead, or something like that, right? Could we survive? Like, could we eat? Could we eat any of them? Right?
I mean, it depends. You look at the basic human, we're our own species.
Yeah.
What do we need to live? We need water. We need food. We need oxygen, or we need air, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what else?
I thought of, would it be morally wrong to eat an animal or an alien monkey on a different planet? Because it's here. I mean, in this country, it's wrong to eat a monkey. But would it be wrong to eat a monkey on a different planet? Because maybe in their and it's like eating cows here.
So wait, you're saying so we're gonna talk about like the sort of food aspect of this planet,
Yeah.
Like
what's okay to eat?
Yeah. Could we even eat them in the first place?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is let's say there was another planet and it convergently evolved or very similarly evolved like Earth, where they have.
It didn't, they didn't exactly evolve. They went different ways.
But they have a sort of monkey thing. So they have some kind of trees, whether it's like giant mushroom-like things or something. And we're assuming that the building blocks of life. So, glucose and ATP and all the things that we associate with our life and cells and all these things. We're assuming that they have them. So we could assume, evolution, and we say that some sort of monkey evolved on that planet. Would it be ethical to eat that if it's similar to our monkeys?
I mean, that you could go into. I mean, that's a whole thing on Earth in general. Like, that's an alien thing. On Earth, you could say, oh yeah, like, it's not ethical to eat squids or whatever. But then, like, Japan or whatever, they're eating squids for dinner. Like, it's not wrong or anything.
I mean, there's places on Earth where they eat monkey.
No, what were you saying?
There's places on Earth where they eat monkey, so yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and, like, cows. Like, we eat cows like steak or whatever for dinner. Like, it's just whatever. But then you can look at, like, India and, like, Hinduism. They treat cows like holy whatever. Like, they praise cows. I mean, I think it just depends on, like, what do they do there? I mean, I don't know.
Would you think there'd be religion on the planet? Or would you think
I think for sure.
Like a monarchy where no religion. What type of government would you think these aliens have?
I feel like the same concepts that we have would
feel
arise.
Like they'd be just as curious as us if they're not like as technologically advanced or whatever. They're not like so ahead of us doing time travel and all that.
And that's assuming that the aliens aren't like super different. Like, what if they're like? That's kind of thinking they're like us, right? And I think if they're like us, then I think the ideas of capitalism and communism will be very similar on an alien planet. Like, those are two very different systems of government and economics and things like that. And I think those are likely to have some sort of
Yeah.
similar thing on an alien planet. But what if they're like their civilization is not like us, where it's like an individual? What if it's like an ant colony where the workers of the colony don't have their own life? It's like just they do things for the queen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Exactly. It's like a monarch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a monarchy.
That's
And
interesting
you
to think
could
about.
look at a lot of things like that. I mean, like species on its own and on other planets. Like that's a whole thing. If they're real, I think aliens are real.
Oh,
How
I
do they
definitely.
even live though? Do they eat animals as food? What if they don't?
What
What
if they
if they just eat like
photosynthesize?
some source of energy or something?
Like, what if they're like plants where they
They
use
don't need. What if they
photosynthesis?
don't need food? Like humans need food. What if they don't? What if they don't even need water?
I feel like you need water. Like, no, if it's life similar to our life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but there's
like
on
photosynthesis,
other
think about.
planets it would be different living conditions, you know.
Oh, that's
So
true.
what if you don't?
Well, then I would hesitate to call it life then,
Yeah.
because life is our
Our
definition of
definition of
life.
life.
So it's like life is a cell, right? And it's sort of this thing. Maybe there's other
Nucleus.
types of life in the universe, but there's like, I guess the only one we can understand is our kind of life.
Yeah.
That's weird. And then therefore I think if those life forms were different, if they weren't based off a cell like ours, I don't think we'd be able to eat them.
Yeah,
You know
back
what I
to
mean?
eating them. Like, are they even edible? What is that? Like,
Yeah.
would they even look like humans, or would they just be like a floating ball, or like who
Yeah.
knows?
What if they're like,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. But I was thinking, just going back to the original question, if could we eat aliens? I think if they were similar to the life we have, I think we could eat them.
And there's cannibals like that eat humans. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Would there
think
be cannibals on different?
certainly,
yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, maybe. I mean, you could think like, do they have brains and like thought? Do they think like us? Like we have a certain thinking process.
Yeah.
What if they like just? I don't know.
Yeah. Like if they think differently, they could have different brain stuff.
There's this really interesting series on YouTube that I love to watch. It's this guy only makes like a video every couple of months, but it's Alien Biospheres series, and I can't really
Oh,
show
yeah.
any of the pictures on the podcast
Yeah,
because
Nick
of
was
copyright
showing me
things.
this
But it's
last week.
super cool to watch. And this guy, he's created an alien planet, and he started with like a single cell life like us, or a multicellular life like us. And he's been like just like evolving this thing over a series of episodes, and he's coming up with his entire ecosystems of just aliens. And it's really cool to watch because I see these things and I look at all these creatures he makes, and I go, I could eat that.
Yep. It's like I can turn this into something.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of them, some of them, one like sort of type of these creatures has a brain similar to us. Just it's like a nerve cluster, and that's all our brain is. It's just like a cluster of nerves where our sensory
Yeah.
organs are.
That's going into like a human body. What if they have like
And
souls? Do they think like? Do they have a subconscious? Like,
Yeah.
do they have that?
That's a whole nother.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's just weird to think about.
yeah. There's just something that I like to think about is people like to talk about how aliens are so likely to be so different from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah,
we can't comprehend
could look
them.
exactly like them, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think we look exactly like them. I think that's possibility, but I think it's unlikely. Like even the gray alien sort of thing. I don't know how
Yeah.
likely that is, just because it's so humanoid, so like us. It has 4 legs, 2 eyes, all this kind of things. But I like to imagine that we, if there's let's say there's 100 alien civilizations in the universe, and 70 of them are alike, and 20 of them are a little bit weirder, and 10 of them are like just so out of the world, right? If you throw a dart, you'd kind of land on one of the 70. So I like to imagine that as humans, we are kind of like the average alien civilization. we're not smart, we're not dumb, we're not strong, we're not anything. We're just kind of like the average alien.
We're in the middle.
Are we? Like,
I mean, we can't confirm it, but like it's a more likely scenario than not. You know what I mean?
To us, we are, yeah.
It's like there's a 70% chance that we are the normal or the average civilization. And then as we uncover more civilizations, we find out maybe we're like so different than every other normal life in the universe. You know, maybe we're that weird one that nobody can understand. Maybe everybody's like some vegetable people, and we're like the orcs of the galaxy, where we have these, you know, big teeth and we crush things up to digest them and eat them, you know, and we have like literal bone growing through our mouth, like, you know what I mean? And we're just savage, or maybe we're like incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are things I like to think about.
Yeah. I don't know. And you could think like, well, repeat the original question.
Could we eat an alien on an alien planet?
I mean, back to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you could. I feel like they would just look like killing. I don't know. I don't think you could get away with it and just start eating another alien. But I mean, if it's just like another,
not necessarily animal, eating the.
You
alien.
Could define alien differently.
Okay. When I guess then let's say by defining that alien in the thing, could we eat an alien, right? Could we eat a being from another planet? And when I say being, I mean like an animal, not necessarily a conscious animal. Like it could be, these alien planets are going to have whole ecosystems, not just like one alien, you know what I mean? It's going to have their version of a cow. It's going to have their version of a plant. And I feel like these are likely things. It's going to have their version of a meat eater, you know? Something that eats these other animals. If they're evolving intelligent life, they're going to evolve some sort of intelligent life, and that's going to be something that is likely to eat plants or eat other creatures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like we wouldn't be eating that intelligent life we discovered, but we'd be eating the things that it eats if we ever go to that planet.
Yeah, it's like we're one of them.
Yeah. Like if aliens visited us, right?
Would you think that they'd have... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Would you think that they'd have different diets like we do?
Like recipes or diets?
Like diets. Like, you know, they only eat like omnivores, carnivores, herbivores. Would you think that would apply to a different area?
Oh,
or would
definitely.
you think that they all eat the same thing?
I think it depends. I think humans are very
picky,
variable. Yeah. I think let's say different animals on Earth had evolved intelligence. Like let's say like a lion had evolved intelligence, right? The majority of lions would only eat meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but would you think that if they get smarter, they would realize?
I don't think so, because I think they're adapted to eat meat. I think it's like that's what their teeth are designed to eat, whereas like we were designed to be omnivores, so we can eat kind of everything.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Or like a cow isn't gonna just change its diet if it got really smart. It's gonna keep eating grass because that's what works for it. You know what I mean?
But eventually, you would think they would start experimenting like we did.
I feel like they would experiment. I just don't think they'd like the taste or be able to eat meat. You know what I mean?
People said, yeah. I get where you're coming.
Yeah. No, it's possible that if it's like a fox, right? It's gonna... I think if a fox were to evolve intelligence, I think that because foxes are omnivores like us, I think they definitely have diets. They different groups of them would have different diets. Like some foxes would be like, I like to only eat plants and berries because that's what I like to eat. And then other foxes are going to be like, I like to eat all meat because that's what foxes eat, you know?
Yeah.
Just the opinion.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Say that again?
I said that's just opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's like it's a combination of what the animal can originally eat in the first place. You know what I think it's that. I think it's And from there, if it can eat a lot of different things, then it's going to have a lot of different diets. And if it only has like a certain limited set of things it can eat, then it's going to have diets within that limited set.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like a lion diet, right? Some lions might choose to only eat buffalo, you know, and some lions might choose to eat only giraffe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're not going to just choose to eat plants because they're not going to be able to digest it like a cow can.
I mean, a lot of like that's carnivores, omnivores, herbivores.
Yeah.
Like it's grown to that.
And there's like all sorts of different types of vores too. Like there's some things that eat coral. Like some fish eat coral. We can't eat coral because it would crush our teeth, right? Or wood. Like I feel like some animals either alive today or in the past would eat wood. Like termites eat wood, right?
Yeah.
We can't eat wood.
Yeah, like fish. We can't breathe underwater.
Yeah.
They can't breathe air.
So I think there's like limits, but
if you think about it, like fish, no, they're not aliens, but like
yeah. Yo, let's say.
Sorry, that sounds dumb, but
This is all good. Let's say an alien came to our planet, right, and met us, and we were interacting with it, and scientists were, you know, amazed and all this stuff, right? Would we be able to feed it food of ours? I feel like we could. Like, let's say an octopus came from outer space and in a spaceship, right? We could feed it fish. We could feed it fruit. It might not like it, but it could probably eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, our next topic.
Yeah, let's move on.
That is you. I tried to look into this and manta rays, guys.
Oh yeah, okay.
Why are they so smart?
Yeah. So this was back in I think 2017 and this is a report. I found it and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I thought we'd talk about it on the podcast. Manta rays are those fish in the ocean that are like, you know, kind of wide and they're like stingrays, but they're not quite stingrays. Let me take a sip of my chocolate milk. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could say that like manta rays, like dolphins, they're really smart.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other smart ones. I just know dolphins are really smart.
Yeah, dolphins are super smart. But yeah, so back in 2017, some scientists were doing some studies on manta rays. And here's the article. So it says, Cecilia, I don't know how to pronounce that. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Cecilia Ari, director of the Manta Pacific Research Foundation, studies manta ray brains and behavior. These rays have enlarged brain areas, she said, associated with intelligence, vision, and motor I don't have verbal coordination. They have motor coordination. Some brain cells, too, are physically more like those in birds and mammals than in other fish. A big brain is nice and all, but mantas are also act smart. They flaunt their intelligence in behavioral tests that use mirrors to check for self-awareness. Only a few species, including great apes and bottlenose dolphins, can recognize their own reflections rather than attacking or ignoring the mirror. So it sounds like they put the mirror in front of the manta rays and they can, you know, they have a self-conscious. Yeah.
Like they are aware of themselves.
Yeah.
Which most animals don't have that.
I've
heard some dogs have it.
Some dogs have it? I don't think
but
so.
Only like really, really intelligent dogs.
I don't know. I think it's only like very few animals though that actually have that. I don't know. We could look it up for sure. That's what we do. Can any dogs pass the mirror test? Do some dogs pass the mirror test?
I think it would only be like a certain breed of dogs if it were.
Yeah. Okay, so it says the behavior of the dogs in both experiments supports just like the top result, supports the idea that dogs can recognize their own odor as being from themselves. Dogs may not recognize themselves in a mirror, but by changing the self-recognition test to sense that dogs rely more strongly on their sense of smell, it looks like they pass. So it's possible that if dogs could see better, they could pass the mirror test.
Yeah, because aren't all dogs, except for huskies, colorblind, right?
Yeah. They just don't have as good vision, but like smell, they can definitely tell.
Yeah,
they know that this is their smell.
Especially like canines. You know, those things, those dogs can sniff out anything.
Yeah.
Like, they can sniff out the different portions of a meal.
Yep.
And it's so weird to me that, you know, there's stuff living on this earth that can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't.
And we're supposed to be the superior, you know.
In a way, humans are almost the average animal in so many things. Like, we don't have great vision like an eagle, but we don't have bad vision like a mosquito or a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think for the aliens, going back to, you know, we're kind of the average civilization. Moving on with the study, though. So you know, the next thing is, how do we know that the manta rays can recognize themselves? It says, manta rays might also recognize themselves. In a 2016 study, Ari found that captive manta rays swam repetitively back and forth in front of a mirror for an unusually long time, while they examined body parts that they otherwise wouldn't see. The rays rolled and unrolled the short horn-shaped fins around their mouths 10 times more often than without the mirror, and they blew bubbles while looking at the mirror. Unusual repeated behaviors that could imply self-recognition. So I guess the scientists can't, like, outright say...
Yeah, they can't. It's not like the manta ray.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I recognize myself. It's like, these behaviors are showing
that it's very likely.
Yes, I can see myself, but we can't.
Yeah.
We can prove it in theory. We can't,
Yeah.
you know, just outright say these dudes recognize each other.
I think over a certain amount of time, I think over, like, you know, as they do more tests, they're going to get to a point where they probably can say it for sure, but I don't think...
Because, like, have you heard of that dog? I bet you so many people... This dog. The dog, I don't remember her name, but she uses those little foot things to communicate with her owner.
Oh, really?
I don't remember. I'll look it up, actually.
Yeah.
But the dog uses these, like, foot pedal things, and it communicates.
Oh, I have seen that one. I've seen that.
I think that is so cool.
It talks to the owner through buttons. It's like
Yeah.
buttons speak out loud. Yeah.
Is that like a TikTok thing, so it might be fake, or is that like a real thing?
It's a it's Bunny the dog.
Let me look it up.
And they use over 40 words on communicate. It's like a communication tag. So basically, the dog can talk to the owner using these buttons. Like, you know, there's buttons like walk, outside, inside, pets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that these dogs can, like, I've heard it's not just that dog. They've done this before, but this dog is just like the best out of all.
That's so crazy. And especially when you think that dogs aren't necessarily even like the smartest animal on the earth.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other things that are like smarter than them too, like crows and elephants and dolphins and stuff. Like, animal intelligence is just insane.
Yeah, man. I think that there is a point where it'll either be the robots or some type of animal that will try to take us over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like revolution. I mean, humans did it to ourselves. Who knows what's
going to Neanderthals and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know how that happened. Like,
how
did these guys just start, you know, becoming humans out of nowhere?
It sounds dumb, but you look at Planet of the Apes. Literally, I know it sounds dumb, but
it's a more entertaining version of
yeah.
Like, what if that does happen? Who knows?
Do you guys know about the stoned ape theory?
No, actually.
I think I have seen that. I have seen that.
So I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, and he brings this up like all the time. So there's like this gap in human intelligence, like in the fossil record, and these things that like we don't understand quite like everything about how we got so smart so fast. Like we know there's probably a bunch of things that contributed to it. You know, like a combination of more complex social groups, and now we use fire so we can free up jaw space for brain space, kind of things. You know.
Yeah.
And also by using fire we can get more calories from our food. So a lot of like the time we started using fire, our brain started going up. But it's also very likely, or a possible theory, I should say. It's not very likely. It's a possible theory that these our human ancestors started finding like psilocybin mushrooms and things all over the ground when they're just like looking for things to eat, and they started eating them, and because the psychedelics changed the way they thought,
So
and they ended up, that's like had to do with a lot of the first language and things like that, and one of the reasons our intelligence got so high is because now we have access to all these things that we didn't think about before.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
So it's like a
It's
drugs
interesting
might
to
have
think about.
drugs might have smartened these guys.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe that's why government banned them.
So that we can't evolve at their pace.
Maybe.
But that's a story for another day.
Oh, for sure. Oh my god, we've been doing this for an hour already.
Really?
Man.
All right. Do you wanna wrap it up?
I think so. Anyone have
All right.
anything left to say?
All right, man. This was a great episode. I had a lot
This
of
has been
fun
great.
recording this.
Ethan, we need to have you on again at some point. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it was nice talking with you guys. It was very interesting to just talk about that stuff.
Yeah. You're always welcome. With that, guys, I think this is about time to end it. We're gonna wrap this up for now. If you enjoyed listening, feel free, if you're on YouTube, go check out our Spotify link and just listen to it again on Spotify, because that really helps us out. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, share this with your friends. That is the best way we can expand our podcast reach. Is like the more people that share with our friends. Let us know if you enjoyed. Leave a YouTube comment, or just let us know on social media, or all sorts of different ways. You can follow us on Instagram. The link is in the description. And with that, guys, I hope you guys all have an amazing day. And that's it for this podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.